Okay, and I got a few things I want to say about this here video report. Okay, it's been on for a while, but I've just got to say something about this because this is kind of hogwash. So I figured I'd do a reply to it. But anyhow, in case you haven't seen it, I'll play it. If you have, that's fine too.
Yes, our children were indeed something to fear. They had turned into little monsters. But who was to blame? All the experts had an answer.
Angry, heavy metal subculture. Where were the parents?
Violent movies,
South Park,
video games,
television, entertainment, Satan, cartoons, society,
toy guns, drugs.
Society, right? Television, society, programming. Yep, the way we treat one another. Yeah, that would be a big deal right there. Just the way we treat each other because of social conditioning, society, television, music, media, that's right. It's the school system, the way we've all been trained to think, brain raped, brainwashed. I know, everybody says, I've been brainwashed, when they have been. But they're too dumb to know what brainwashing is. They don't know what brainwashing is. Well, they think they know, and they think that's why I know I ain't brainwashed. And in reality, every last one of us has been brainwashed, and that's no lie. Because all brainwashing is one's ability to change somebody's opinion about something or mind about something or make one believe something that isn't true is true.
Doc Rocker, Marilyn Manson,
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson,
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson has canceled the last 5 dates of his U.S. tour out of respect for those lost in Littleton. But the singer says artists like himself are not the ones to blame.
This is perhaps the sickest group ever promoted by a mainstream record company.
After Columbine, it seemed that the entire focus on why the shootings occurred was because the killers listened to Marilyn Manson.
Which is complete hogwash. The killings occurred because of your ability to stereotype out, to push out, to ridicule, to bully. That's right, to bully, to shit on other people, to do unto others that you don't want done unto yourselves. You people brought the shooting on yourself, and you people, that's all there is to it. You create the people who killed you, even Columbine High School. The shooters, okay, they wasn't drove mad by Marilyn Manson. They was drove mad by fucking you people in that fucking school system, by the students they went to school with. That's right, by society, by how we treat one another.
2 years after Columbine, Manson finally returned to Denver.
The Ozfest at Mile High Stadium brings shock rocker Marilyn Manson to Denver tomorrow.
There were protests from the religious right. But I thought I'd go and talk with him myself.
When I was a kid growing up, music was the escape. That's the only thing that had no judgments. You put on a record, and it's not going to yell at you for dressing the way you do. It's going to make you feel better about it.
Mm-hmm.
Some will be so brash to ask if we believe that all who hear Manson tomorrow night will go out and commit violent acts. The answer is no. But does everybody who watches a Lexus ad go and buy a Lexus? No. But a few do.
I definitely can see why they would pick me, because I think it's easy to throw my face on the TV, because I'm, in the end, sort of a poster boy for fear, because I represent what everyone's afraid of. Because
he represents what everyone's afraid of, right? Because they're afraid of truth, right? They couldn't own up the truth. They got to try to push something onto you that's not your fault, that you had nothing to do with. Okay, and it wasn't even in these boys' minds when they were shooting and killing. You was the farthest thing from their minds. Believe me, Marilyn Manson was the farthest thing away from their minds.
I do and say what I want.
Marilyn Manson can walk into our town and promote hate, violence, suicide, death, drug use, and Columbine-like behavior. I can say, not without a fight, you can't.
The two byproducts of that whole tragedy were violence and entertainment and gun control. And how perfect that was the two things that we were going to talk about with the upcoming election. And also then we forgot about Monica Lewinsky. We forgot about the president was shooting bombs overseas, yet I'm a bad guy because I've sung some rock and roll songs. And who's a bigger influence, the president or Marilyn Manson? Dude, I'd like to pick me, but I'm going to go with the president.
You know that the day that Columbine happened, the United States dropped more bombs on Kosovo than any other time during that war?
I do know that, and I think that that's really ironic, you know, that nobody said, well, maybe the president had an influence on this violent behavior. No, because that's not the way the media wants to take it and spin and turn it into fear. Because then you're watching television, you're watching the news.
You're watching live vision, you're watching programming, that's right. You're being lied to in your news, you're watching programming that helps to program your mind to what they want you to believe. And unfortunately, the majority of people out here firmly believe their television set, and because of that, they're firmly brain raped.
You're being pumped full of fear. There's floods, there's AIDS, there's murder. Cut to commercial. Buy the Acura, buy the Colgate. If you have bad breath, they're not going to talk to you. If you got pimples, the girl's not going to fuck you. And it's just this, it's a campaign of fear and consumption. And that's what I think that it's all based on, is the whole idea that keep everyone afraid and they'll consume. Mm-hmm. And that's really as simple as it can be boiled down to.
Right. If you were to talk directly to the kids at Columbine and the people in the community, what would you say to them if they were here right now?
I wouldn't say a single word to them. I would listen to what they have to say, and that's what no one did.
That's exactly it.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly it. His last words right here. That's exactly it.
Mm-hmm. And that's really as simple as it can be boiled down to.
Right. If you were to talk directly to the kids at Columbine and the people in the community, what would you say to them if they were here right now?
I wouldn't say a single word to them. I would listen to what they have to say.
That's right. He wouldn't say a single word. He would listen to what they have to say. Okay?
And that's what no one did.
That's right. That's what no one did. That's what our society does. You know, even with George Sedini, he wrote his blogs, he made a video. He told people how he felt. And CNN got up there and took his words, twisted them, flipped them. They said things he didn't say. They said, all right, here's his words, after you turned them around. That's right, after you took his words, twisted them, turned them around, and then said he said. No. The minute you changed his words around, it was now a lie. That's right, the minute you changed the words around, it's a lie. It's not what he said, it's what you said now. See, this is what our society is famous for doing. Is taking other people's words and turning them, manipulating them, twisting them. And then wanting to say that it's still truth when you know full well that you fucking just lied your ass off, that you're twisting their fucking words, that they never said that to begin with, and you laugh while you do it. And then something like Columbine High happens. And you're all going, you've done it to yourselves. You've done it to yourselves. You cannot go through life shitting and dumping on people, bullying people, pushing people out, bullying people, pushing people out, bullying people, pushing people out, and I actually expect no repercussions. Okay, and you know, I don't know how many times this has to be said to you people. I guess 1,000,000 times over. It'll have to be said. Maybe one day your brains will accidentally work properly and you'll get it. And it'll click in your head and you'll finally get what we've been trying to tell you for so long. But I doubt it. I really do. I personally think your brains are too far gone, too fried to get it at all. But the one thing's for sure, You heard them use Marilyn Manson here as a scapegoat, a cop-out for Columbine High School shooting, okay? Which is sad. Really is sad because Marilyn Manson had nothing to do with Columbine High School. That's your cop-out to get around the real truth. Columbine High School shooting was created by the students of Columbine High School. It sure was. It was created by the very students of Columbine High School as they treated these boys, as society always does. It was probably the vaginas. That's right, because even in high school you have vaginas. You know, vaginas and females. Ridiculing, slamming, bullying, picking on. Ones who don't act the way you think they're supposed to act or don't think with your brain. And so then you ridicule, pick, and bully. Ridicule, pick, and bully. Until somebody can't take it anymore. And then they come with a gun with a school, and that's what happened. And they shot and killed, and then you all whined and cried. And then you look for your cop-outs to blame on rather than look for the fucking truth. Because that's how our society works. We look for lies to blame shit on rather than look for the truth. We don't look for the truth because the truth means we'd have to take some responsibility and correct the problem. And you don't want responsibility.